Hey everybody, welcome to Game of Thrones. Hey, we're talking. It's Monday, and that means we're going to stay up to date on Game of Thrones by talking to you about it a week after it happened, a week and one day. Somebody gave me crap about that the other day. They're like, you wait like a whole week. I'm like, look,
we give time so there's no spoilers, just in case somebody's delayed. That's all.
You can't make.
Yeah, do you want us to do the show
I know. What should we?
Right after?
Yeah, should we wait until every Sunday night after the show's done and jump on here and be like, "All right, guys,
it's like 11 o'clock at night.
Here's what happened on Game of Thrones."
Oh, spoiler alert!
Yeah, yeah. People then all sorts of people will be ticked off that we talked about it.
There was somebody who made a comment. Rob, I think his name was.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, I've never watched Game of Thrones, but you guys make it interesting and this and this and that." So that was pretty cool.
Listen. I appreciate that he says that, but they don't need us to make Game of Thrones interesting. The show's really good. Although, look at Bob. All right, let's just jump into this. All right, I'm just gonna dive in and just say
the
this.
bells.
Yes, this episode was, I think, for me, I loved everything about it. I thought it was a great episode. I really did. I really enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't like. There's one thing I didn't like, okay, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. Derek, why don't you give us a quick breakdown? Don't make it super long, 15 minutes, but give us a quick breakdown of what happened.
Okay, so we've destroyed the Night King, right?
Yes.
That's done.
Yep.
And we're getting ready to invade
King's Landing.
King's Landing. There you go. Dany is going crazy.
Yes, she is.
We had the debate last week about, Jon is the true heir, whatever, and Dany is very upset that news got out. And then Varys gets, he's like, I don't think Dany should be the queen anymore. And he sends out letters, has spies, and Tyrion rats him out, and he gets executed by Dracarys. He gets Dracarys. And then we go and we make the battle plan to King's Landing. The game plan is, all right, we're gonna have all the troops outside the city. Daenerys is gonna ride Drogon around and light everything up. And then once she gets into the city, once she breaks the walls, we're gonna try to get the people to surrender.
Yep.
By being signified by the bells. So Drogon goes around, destroys Euron's fleet.
Oh, and that was so great. That made
was
me
great
happy.
to see.
Okay,
destroys the wall. Yeah, destroys
Which
the wall.
makes me wonder why she couldn't have done that
exactly
2 weeks ago.
Okay,
yeah.
all right,
whatever. It
all
was.
right.
So yeah, she destroys all the scorpions and all the fortifications around King's Landing. Everybody, the Northmen, the Unsullied, the Dothraki, they all run in and they start unleashing holy hell. And then you hear the bells.
Yep, finally.
And people are like, oh no, they don't start fighting because the Golden Company just gets lit up.
they
and
they basically just get fried.
Everybody lays their swords down. All the people are like, ring the bells.
Yep.
We're done. Everybody's like, ring the bells.
Chiming through the whole city.
Yeah.
Everybody yells it all the way back to the bells. Then all of a sudden, boom, there goes the bells ringing.
And so everybody's like, you know what? You got us.
Yeah.
You got us, girl.
Yep.
Dany, you're the queen now.
Yep.
But then she lets Dracarys, all of King's Landing, lights everybody up, kills
every innocent
Yep.
men, women, children.
Oh, man. And so her descent into madness is complete.
Yeah.
And that was basically the show. I mean, we get you get the Clegane Bowl.
Yep.
Sandor versus Gregor.
Yep.
You get that. They kill each other. They fall
Which
off.
I think was a very disappointing fight.
You didn't like the Hound in the Mountain fight?
Well,
okay, we'll come around to this.
It didn't live up to what I thought it would be. But okay, so I had a question for you guys. So when Varys was in his little room, and he was writing those letters before he was killed.
Yep.
The little girl came into the room, and he had a conversation with her.
Yep.
And we don't know all the details of the conversation, but basically the little girl said she won't eat.
Yep.
And said, basically do he told her, do your thing in the kitchen. Well, his people are watching me, or her people are watching me, and he's like, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Any idea what that's about?
Yeah, this is the educated guess. If you remember, I think it was Ned in the first season, was trying to figure out how, I think it was the hand
John Aaron.
Yeah, was it
John
the hand?
Aaron.
Yeah. They were trying to figure out how he died. It was by poison. And I think Varys or somebody says that is the weapon of women. That's like a way and eunuchs. It says the weapon of women and eunuchs.
Somebody, I think Ned might have said that back to him, like, yeah, it's the weapon of women and eunuchs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there is a plan in this next episode to poison her.
I think that was the plan they were trying to execute. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to go through now.
Well, it's still in play, because if the little girl survived, that plan should still be in play.
Yeah.
So that's
that
just
would be
a question that I have.
If that ended up happening, I think people would riot.
That based would be a disappointing death.
Based on the way some of the people have died in this past episode, like even Varys, people were furious that Varys was just like, got caught. And then
Tyrion turned him in.
Tyrion's just like puts his hand on him for a second. Oh, you're my friend.
Yeah.
And then Dracarys, and he just burns up. That's it. He doesn't get to say anything.
And the actor was actually very. I've actually watched a bunch of stuff with all the actors and actresses about these last few episodes, and everybody is unhappy with it. Jon Snow.
I feel like they're manipulating that. I don't think that's what they really. I think like there's a thing that you're talking about, like Jon Snow's like, tell us about the last season. He goes, it's disappointing and epic. When you say that, I feel like people are taking that. He's saying it's disappointing that it's ending.
Yeah.
I don't think he's saying that the episodes are disappointing. These people would not be going out in the final season of a show that is this huge talking trash about the show. They would not. They're probably
see a lot of these actors and actresses are
people are taking this stuff out of context because I'm sure that these people have signed agreements on top of that says don't talk trash about the show.
But dude, I mean, disappointing.
You could ruin your whole career if you went around talking trash about something this large in entertainment.
I've also heard that they filmed multiple endings for each character. And so they don't really know what's going to happen for real because they filmed many different endings for the show.
That is interesting.
So there's various, and they do that a lot. They do that a lot for different shows. They film multiple possible endings just so that, some crew member or some actor doesn't just leak it because we don't really know.
Yeah.
But I get it. Look, we have Scott and I are in a little Voxer chat with a few of our friends, and we're discussing Game of Thrones. I think Scott and I are on the side that it's like we love Game of Thrones. We think the show as a whole has been amazing.
Yeah.
And yes, some of the decisions that have been made towards the end of the season have been, you feel like the pacing is weird, things are rushed, and that character deaths, the payoff for these characters, because they've been building for like 9-10 years. We've been seeing the character stories build and build for the last 8 seasons. And it's like the payoff, the final is kind of like meh.
Yeah.
And it kind of falls flat. It doesn't land very well. And I get that. But what separates Scott and I is that we're still entertained. We're still enjoying the show.
For sure.
We can acknowledge the shortcomings, but we're not like, this is like a Russian slap in the face. This is horrible. This is stupid.
Yeah.
This is terrible, and I hate it. And we have dear friends, people that we love and respect who are just like
Rudolph.
They are literally
Dasher and Dancer.
Listen,
like you have dear friends.
Exactly.
Dear friends. Yeah.
But they are like full on. They literally are like, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. This show is complete garbage. And I'm like, really?
Let me address one piece of it at a time, I guess. because I don't know if the whole show's garbage, but there are things that are extremely disappointing.
It's not garbage, though.
No, but so here, Danny's character, or Danny.
Right.
So she's been working over the last several seasons to be the breaker of chains,
right.
to be the person to free everybody, to show that, hey, we're going to live in a great world. And then all of a sudden she makes this switch to the Mad Queen. It's not
all of a sudden, though. That's the thing.
We see signs, and you always get that with leaders, that they do get jealous. They have signs of that. But to go from freeing people a season ago and to be working into this, and then all of a sudden she just goes total Mad Queen.
It's not all of a sudden.
Fast.
It's not.
No, it is.
Might be sped up, but it's not all of a sudden. In season one, she takes, I don't know if she took joy, but she definitely wasn't terrified when her husband poured molten hot gold on top of her brother's head.
No, I get it. There's been things. So her character started off as not so good,
mm-hmm.
and then she became real good, as a queen would be. And then you saw signs here and there of a little bit of madness, and things that you're like
crucifying all the people. How about that?
Right, and burning people and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, we've seen little signs of that, but she's been doing more good than she has bad. And then all of a sudden, there's no good left at all. All of a sudden, she's just the Mad Queen. To me, it just went a little bit too fast.
I think the thing, and I'll let Derek, I can see he's about to jump on this, but I want to say one thing. I believe that the madness it does not take away from her desire to free people, but I believe the real madness has come her obsession with the throne. She's so obsessed with making sure she's in power, and in her mind, when we were at the feast and she saw the way the people love Jon Snow, they're in love with him. She doesn't feel like she has that kind of love and respect from the people that she has around her, and she's slowly but surely letting jealousy and just craziness over getting to this throne has ruined a lot of things. If you watch, even in the last couple of seasons, this stuff has come up more and more. And this one, to me, in this episode, this was all about the fact that she wanted revenge for what happened to, what's her name, that got her head chopped off and thrown off the wall. What was that girl's name?
Missandei?
Missandei, yeah. Okay, Derek, go ahead.
Well, I think Danny has in the past several seasons, she has verbalized like her desire to just rain down death and destruction, mm-hmm. destroy cities and take over. She wants to. She's said out loud, "Yeah, I'll destroy cities, and I will do all of this so that I can sit on the throne." With the ultimate goal that I create a better world. And then she's had her advisors, Tyrion, Jorah Mormont, Varys, Missandei, Grey Worm. They're all like, but, they try to temper her like, mm-hmm. hey, relax, take it down, Danny, take it down a notch. Yep. You don't need to destroy the cities because you need their support. You need their support. You can't just go in there and tear it up. Well, over the last few seasons, you see the jealousy creep in.
Yep.
You see some of the madness from her bloodline creep in. And as her advisors, her good friends, the voices of reason, Jorah's gone, Missandei's gone, and then she went ahead and executed Varys. All she has in her ear now is Tyrion, and that's not enough. Maybe Jon, but she's pissed off at Jon because that's her nephew and he's doing whatever. And so everything has just creeped up, and the loss of her advisors was the breaking point, I think. Jorah gone, then Missandei, and then when she decided to execute Varys, because he was probably poisoning her. I mean, that's what you said. We think he might have been poisoning her. Mm-hmm. Probably did. And so they didn't handle that right. Mm-hmm. But I think it's totally in line with her character arc. I think it is totally in line with how she's been progressing.
I think if we had another season and this happened, I think it would have been at the right pace. But to me, it just seemed rushed. So on the nurse emergency room pain scale, she pretty much just went to from a 5 to a 10, like that, in like 2 seasons. No, not even in this season.
I don't know,
So she's been hovering back and forth at a 5, and then she'd creep up to an 8, and then she'd go back to a 5, and then all of a sudden she just having a heart attack.
Let me say this real quick. Pacing aside, yes, I think that they probably could have, instead of doing these 2 short seasons, they probably could have done 3 regular seasons to flesh all this out and give all these characters the deaths. And of course, finishing their development. All right, so there are pacing issues, yes, but it's still in line with her character development. I think it is.
It was eventually going to happen, but to me, it just happened too fast. And let's touch on Jamie real quick. So the same thing with his character. To me, it was like, okay, this is a bad guy, and then all of a sudden we saw all this good time, and he built up into a good guy who was fighting for the right cause. He hooked up with Brienne. We see everything going good. And then all of a sudden that character clicked a switch and said, I'm going back. And it's like, wait, you've been building him up into being a good guy and showing another side of this character. And then all of a sudden he's back to
because he's always been in love with Cersei.
That's fine, but don't build the character into something good then.
Have you
wait a minute. It was pointless.
Have you never seen any TV shows or experienced anything in real life where a person wants to be a good person and they go all through all these things and they keep trying and trying and trying, and then all of a sudden one thing happens and they're back to where they were?
Yeah, but then again, it was something so stupid. You know, it's just, okay, well, I'm going to go sleep with Brienne and then I'm leaving.
He's madly in love with Cersei. He loves her with everything inside of him.
To me, it was stupid to build a character like that and then just have it click a switch.
Yeah, he had the redemption story and then what I like to call dedemption.
But here's the thing. Since we're talking about Jamie, let's get to this. If you didn't like the Mountain and the Hound, the way that ended, how irritating is it that Cersei and Jamie just get crushed by rocks? That's it. That's it.
Yeah. That's the thing, you know, and I'm trying to, like I said, I still, in the moment as I'm watching the show, and if I go back and watch it again, I'm gonna enjoy the show. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you have these people were developed to go down swinging, to go down fighting.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, there was so much talk of betrayal between these two, you know, so you would think that Jamie would probably be the one to kill Cersei, or Cersei would try to maybe go through and kill Jamie on sight. But no, it's like, you know, hey, we're back together. They escape, and then rocks fall on them. Yeah. I mean, it's still like it's good that I think it's good in a general sense that they kind of came together and they died together. You know, they came into this world as they're twins, right? Yeah. So they came in together and they died together. They got crushed, but it's like,
but I will.
You know,
then again, it's like, okay, well, you would think that Jamie would go down swinging, and if he didn't, you thought somebody was going to give it to her.
Jamie did.
You know, besides Jamie,
Jamie did go down swinging, generally speaking, by getting stabbed in the side twice by what's his name, Greyjoy.
Euron
Greyjoy, yeah. And he had one of the man who killed Jamie. Yeah, he had one of the lines that everybody was like, "What the heck is that? The stupidest thing I've ever seen is this guy laying there. I'm the one who killed Jamie."
And it's just this weird cliche kind of thing. There was the whole thing to me was weird as well.
Yeah. So let me say this though. As Cersei was standing up in that tower and she had the mountain and I forget that other weirdo's name. Qyburn with her. I'm not going to lie. As I saw her basically realizing she's done. Like there's no chance. I mean, she had tears in her eyes. I honestly feel like they made me feel a little bit of sadness for her because she brought herself to this point. Now, I wanted revenge on her. I really did. I was really hoping in the end that maybe Arya would have been able to take her out. But this is another thing that people in our chat were very upset with. I liked that moment between Arya and the Hound. I liked that when he just looked at her and said, look, your desire for revenge is going to kill you. If you go with me, you're going to die. I liked that moment. I felt like, again, to me, a lot of these things we're talking about, and I'll come back to Jon Snow in a moment here, because the Starks, especially Arya and Jon, they have something inside of them. There's an honor. There's something there that makes them different than all the other characters in this show. They have this thing inside of them, deep down inside of them, that wants to do the right thing. And I feel like the Hound tapped into that with Arya. She realized, why am I running around trying to kill these people? It's not the right thing to do. She's finished.
But how many seasons has she built into that moment?
But it says something about
you go
them.
Back to yeah, but it's like, okay, you build her into this moment. This is all she's wanted for so long, to kill the woman, basically, that killed her father.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff, and then all of a sudden she's like, okay.
That's not what she did. That was a painful decision for her, man.
No, it was a painful decision, but she's been fighting for this all these seasons.
I know.
And then all of a sudden she's just like,
but if you
okay, you're right. And if you look at the next scene,
she does not go, okay, you're right.
She's crying.
She
had a great opportunity to kill her.
She's shivering.
Right there.
She's like, dude, here's my point. The Starks, and here's why I love the Starks. I don't know about Sansa, because I think she was tainted. She spent too much time in King's Landing. But Arya and Jon, their motives, especially Jon's motives, have always been pure. And I believe Arya is very much like Jon in the way that she was raised. Their father, Ned was a good man. He had opportunity probably to do some things to people that people would have been like, yeah, he should kill that guy. But he didn't. And in the end, it got him. But these people, Arya and Jon, these people, they're the heroes of this. I don't know how it's going to end for them. But they are the people that you're always rooting for them to win. And it's because they do the right thing.
Right. No, I get that. It's just, to me, again, it was another disappointment where they've been building this character for so many seasons, and her whole goal and her whole mission has been to cross people off her list, and then that last person gets on her list, and she's
at that moment,
okay, I'll leave.
I mean, come on. At that moment, the Red Keep was being destroyed by Dany. There was no way that Cersei was going to escape that alive. There was no way.
No.
And the Hound is like, look, I'm going to die anyway. I'm probably going to die anyway. You have a chance to get out of here. This is what revenge leads to. But I think the issue that people had with the Clegane Bowl, the Hound going after him, is because the show had evolved the Hound beyond all that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think that's what Mike Miller was saying a lot in the thing. It's like this character, he spent his time in the hippie commune.
Yeah.
He was running around with the Brotherhood Without Banners. He had lost his motive to kill his brother. His brother was already dead.
Yeah.
The Mountain's already dead. And so to go back, I don't know we don't really know what it is that reignited his desire for revenge.
Do you think it had anything to do with the fact that ultimately that wasn't really his brother anymore? That it was like, I don't know how to say this the right way, but it was almost like this thing is inhabited. I can't say the word. It's taken over his body. It's not really his brother anymore, and he wanted to kill it. I mean, there's something to that to me. But you're right. It was like,
I think it's what Mike said. It's kind of like pandering to the viewers that wanted to see the Hound versus the Mountain. That didn't really need to happen. And remember last season, one of the things that stood out was when they were at that Dragon Pit meeting. He said to the Hound said to the Mountain, "You know who's coming for you."
Yeah.
And whatever that meant, we'll never. I guess we're not going to know.
Yeah.
Because he made it sound like somebody else is coming to kill you. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was Arya. Maybe it was the people of Dorne. I don't know, mm-hmm. but whatever, you know. And with Arya, and I guess we can. The big gripe that I've heard is that Arya has been shown to be this amazing, hardcore person, a survivor, mm-hmm. A fighter. Like she cut through several White Walkers at Winterfell. She killed the Night King, and yet during the King's Landing shenanigans, it's like she was being thrown around like a rag doll because of the stampeding crowds and mm-hmm. everything. And people are like, "That's just so out of character." And I was like, nah. I don't think so. No. She had struggles. She had struggles during the Battle of Winterfell. She got knocked down. She got hit in the head. She struggled, but ultimately she overcame those struggles. And
just as she did in this episode,
just like that. And so I don't feel like that's out of character. And Peter was just.
I know he was tearing
me to shreds.
Let me say this too, though. The thing that everybody keeps discounting again is that conversation with the Hound and that decision to say, I don't need to have revenge. I want to live my life. That took an emotional toll on her. Her mind is not completely in the right place. And then she goes out and there's just masses of humanity like pushing her all over the place. I don't think that was so far-fetched. I think Bob probably disagrees. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know.
He's
There's
speechless.
So much, man. It's just
all right, man.
I love this episode. Bring us home. I loved this episode, and I will tell you. Let me tell you.
Were you guys happy with the fight between the Hound and the Mountain?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I mean, I wasn't.
And the Hound dying by fire, the thing he hates the most.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I thought it was a little lackluster, and you know,
because they kept cutting away from it. You know, they'd come in, you'd get a little bit, and then it'd cut away, and you'd get a little bit.
Do you understand why they did that? When he was getting punched, Arya's getting hit by people and rocks falling around her. It was like there's a punch here. Now Arya's getting punched by what's happening to her. It was artistic.
I just hoped that fight would be better than it was.
Yeah. It could have been better.
It could.
I'm saying the episode could have been better. The pacing could have been better. The character deaths could have been better. Everything could have been better. But I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm still entertained by it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt I'm entertained by it. I do think it's funny. I put the picture in our chat when Sissy and Jamie. Sissy was hugging. They were hugging in the tomb before it collapsed on him.
Yeah.
He didn't have a fake hand on.
Yeah.
I couldn't even see that when I looked at it. Anyway.
If you look, you can actually see his fingers, which is just funny.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. I've enjoyed this season. I have not had all these issues like other people have had, but I haven't invested 10 years of my life in watching this show either. So I give myself a little bit of an edge because I watched it so fast. I'm not completely sucked into the world of Game of Thrones the way some people are. So, all right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. On Wednesday, we're going to wing it. I know that. But we've got some...
Yeah,
we'll have some interesting topics, I'm sure, to talk about. Maybe.
We got to come up with something.
I'm sure.
We're winging it.
Oh, word? I think we will.
Yeah.
So, anyway... Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell. That'll let you know when we put new episodes out. I screwed up again today. The Wednesday episode didn't come out until 12:45. I was like, why does it keep switching my time? And I'm like, no, it's not switching my time. You keep forgetting to put it at the right time like a moron. So user error. Sorry about that, guys. But look us up on YouTube. We appreciate you guys, and we will talk to you on Wednesday. Until then, Fresh Pots.